shadows on the wall.
What flows now?
At the venerable age of 87, Kris Kristofferson has carved an outstanding space in the annals of American music and cinema. He's known for his poetic eloquence, songwriting, and his leading roles on the silver screen. Tracks like Me and Bobby McGee have become anthems for generations, while his film credits, including the popular A Star Is Born, show his versatility as an artist. As he approaches the twilight of his life, Kristofferson has begun to prepare himself, reflecting on a life that's been nothing short of extraordinary. Some stories will surprise you. Join us as we present Kris Kristofferson is selling all his things as he prepares to die. Early life and education. Kris was born into a military family and was exposed to diverse states, cultures, and experiences as a child. This constant movement might have shaped his worldview, instilling a deep appreciation for literature and music that would become foundational to his professional life. But unlike the usual Joe with a guitar, Kristofferson was far from average. He was an intellectual powerhouse, an INTJ, a personality type known for their strategic thinking and reflective nature. His academic prowess landed him at Pomona College in California, where he majored in literature. But beyond good grades, he had a profound love for writing and songwriting. Apart from being just another teenager, Kristofferson was multi-talented and thrived at many pursuits. In sports, he was an agile boxer and earned Golden Gloves distinction. His leadership qualities shone through as cadet commander of his ROTC battalion. He even worked as sports editor of the school paper. However, none of these factors affected his academic performance. He earned honors in English, and his passion for the written word is already taking root, further showcasing his talent and mastery of literature. He won awards for short stories in a prestigious competition sponsored by the Atlantic Monthly. Kristofferson's academic excellence didn't end at Pomona College. His talents earned him the illustrious Rhodes Scholarship, allowing him to study for free at Oxford University in England. There, he studied the poetries of William Blake and songwriting, a study that undoubtedly helped fuel his passion for writing. This intellectual pursuit earned him a prestigious master's degree. You could rightly call him a scholar of exceptional caliber. Nashville and music career. Despite his excellence in poetry and songwriting, Kris shocked everyone when he left the academics for the battlefield. He was stationed with the U.S. Army Rangers in what was then known as West Germany. It was the 1960s, and at the height of the Cold War between the West and the USSR. There are speculations that his family's military background drove him. Kris eventually honed his skills as a combat pilot of the U.S. Army. Little did anyone know that this experience would later help transpond him back to his passion for music. His service as a combat pilot spanned 20 transformative months. After 20 months, Kristofferson found himself at a crossroads, and his heart was always brimming with melodies. He then moved to Nashville, Tennessee, the vibrant heart of country music. Despite his parents' reservations, Kristofferson began to hustle in the streets of Nashville, selling his songs while juggling day jobs to make ends meet. His persistence paid off when fate crossed him with Johnny Cash, a country music powerhouse. Recognizing his raw talents, Cash took Kristofferson under his wing and began showing him how things work. Cash introduced Kristofferson on the prestigious stage of the 1969 Newport Folk Festival, shooting the once struggling singer-songwriter into a high-rated performer. This generosity became a stepping stone, launching Kristofferson's career onto a promising trajectory. While Kristofferson released his solo album in 1970, Kristofferson with Monument Records, he was initially more successful as a songwriter. Renowned country and pop singers fought for his compositions. He even teamed up with the acclaimed poet and cartoonist Shel Silverstein, co-writing tracks like Your Time's Comin', recorded by Farron Young in 1969, and Once More with Feeling, performed by Jerry Lee Lewis in 1970. The famous Me and Bobby McGee, often associated with Janis Joplin's powerful 1970 rendition shortly before her passing, was written by Kristofferson and first sung by Roger Miller in 1969. Soon after, Kenny Rogers, Gordon Lightfoot, and several artists across various genres adopted the song. Kristofferson himself included it on his Kristofferson album in 1970. During the 1970s, Kristofferson released around a dozen solo albums, several of which achieved critical acclaim and commercial success. He collaborated on 3 albums with his then-wife, country singer Rita Coolidge, from 1973 to 1979. Their first collaboration, Full Moon, 1973, reached gold status, having sales exceeding 500,000 copies. This period marked a golden age for Kristofferson, establishing him as a leading figure in country and popular music. While continuing his solo career in the 1980s, Kris embarked on a collaboration by teaming up with country music legends Johnny Cash, Waylon Jennings, and Willie Nelson to form a band, the Highwaymen. Their debut single, titled Highwayman, quickly achieved chart-topping success, reaching #1 on the Billboard country music charts. This momentum continued to their self-titled album, Highwayman, released in 1985, which secured the top spot. Over the next decade, the Highwaymen, as they were affectionately known, solidified their place in country music history. They released 2 more albums, Highwayman 2 in 1990 and The Road Goes On Forever in 1995. His music and personal life reflect a deep quest for understanding and truth, often tinged with introspection and a search for meaning. Forays in acting. Kris was also a talented actor. His acting debut came in 1971 with a small singing role in The Last Movie. Soon after, he landed a more prominent role as the legendary outlaw Billy the Kid opposite James Coburn in Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid. Kris's charisma continued to shine as he transitioned to leading roles. He starred alongside Sarah Miles in The Sailor Who Fell from Grace with the Sea in 1976. He captivated viewers with his portrayal of an aging musician struggling with alcoholism in A Star is Born in 1976, opposite Barbra Streisand. This performance marked a turning point in his acting career, earning him a Golden Globe Award. However, not every venture proved to be successful. Heaven's Gate, 1980, in which Kristofferson played a lead role, became a critical and financial flop. Following this setback, he shifted his focus to television series. Activism and social justice. The legacies of Kris Kristofferson extend far beyond the bright lights of the music stage and acting screen. Throughout his career, he has emerged as a powerful voice against social injustice, leveraging his platform to champion deeply personal causes. He eloquently stated, "We do our best to get up there and tell the truth." And that comes from the heart. From his vocal opposition to the Vietnam War to his unwavering support for farmers, Native Americans, and the working class, Kristofferson has never hesitated to speak his mind. His steadfast commitment to these causes reflects his personal beliefs and a deep empathy for those facing struggles and fighting for their rights. His music, imbued with social commentary and messages of hope, further amplified his influence and appealed to listeners across generations and backgrounds. For instance, his Me and Bobby McGee touches upon love and the themes of poverty, homelessness, and societal indifference. Lines like, "We were just 2 drifters and the world was wide," and "Freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose," paint a picture of marginalized individuals walking through a challenging world. Kris isn't simply an entertainer, but a raw talent and a burning social conscience. These unique attributes make him a powerful voice for the voiceless and a champion for the marginalized. The seamless merging of art and activism became the defining thread of his career, a defining line that continues to ring decades later. His songs weren't merely catchy tunes, they were potent messages of hope and social justice and helped those seeking meaning beyond the superficial. They carried echoes of struggle and resilience, offering solace and understanding to those facing similar challenges. Whether through passionate public statements or benefit concerts, his activism mirrored the themes explored in his music, reflecting a profound commitment to using his platform for positive change. His songs, traversing generations and cultural boundaries, broke the genre limitations of country and became anthems for those seeking solace and understanding. His films, infused with his genuine personality and social awareness, entertained and inspired millions, leaving an indelible mark on popular culture. But perhaps the most exciting aspect of his legacy lies in the authenticity with which he lived his life. He never lived a different persona for the stage, the recording studio, or the protest line. He kept it real all through. Whether captivating audiences with his voice and lyrics, delivering a powerful speech, or lending his support to a cause he believed in, he always remained true to himself. Personal life and relationships. Kris Kristofferson's life has been a mix of love, family, and artistic collaboration. His first marriage in 1960 to Frances Mavia Beer marked the beginning of a journey into fatherhood. They both had 2 children, Tracy and Chris. Although the two parted ways in 1969, this youthful chapter laid the foundation for his future relationships. In 1973, he got into a relationship with fellow singer Rita Coolidge, leading to a union on both personal and professional levels. Their shared passion for music transformed them into a prominent duo in the 1970s, releasing captivating records and hit songs. This blend of personal and professional collaboration faced challenges, ultimately leading to a divorce in 1980. 3 years later, Kristofferson found enduring love with Lisa Myers. This marriage is evidence of commitment and stability, and it has blessed them with 5 children: Johnny, Blake, Jesse, Jod, and Kelly. Throughout his life, Lisa has served as a grounding force, offering unwavering support and love to Kris. One of his best friendships over the years was with Johnny Cash. Their bond was forged through a brazen helicopter landing and a shared passion for music. Cash later became a mentor, confidant, and lifelong friend, leaving an indelible mark in Kristofferson's life. The details of the helicopter story that brought them together vary, depending on the source.
You know, that I landed on his lawn and in a National Guard helicopter.
The general narrative states that in 1969, then-aspiring songwriter Kristofferson, struggling to get his foot in the door, landed a National Guard helicopter on Johnny Cash's property in Hendersonville, Tennessee. Some accounts say he arrived with a demo tape in hand. Others mention beer, but the core message remained. He wanted Cash to hear his music. While initially surprised, and maybe even annoyed, Cash eventually listened to Kristofferson's songs and was impressed enough to record 2 of them, including the iconic Sunday Morning Coming Down. This bold move secured Kristofferson's career and solidified a deep friendship between the 2 musical giants. While some might debate the ethics of his approach, the story speaks volumes about Kristofferson's tenacity and his unwavering belief in his talent. Kris' journey wasn't without its dark allays. Health battles and misdiagnosis. The 1970s, at the peak of his fame, were also marked by battles with substance abuse. Yet, his struggle with addiction and subsequent recovery are a testament to his inner strength. His openness about these challenges humanized him and became a beacon of hope for others facing similar battles. Faith, instilled in him since childhood, also significantly shaped his life and art. Themes of redemption, the search for meaning, and spiritual exploration often graced his lyrics. In the years leading up to the 2010s, Kristofferson began facing significant health challenges, particularly concerning his memory. Imagine the fear and uncertainty that accompanied this diagnosis, especially for someone whose life's work revolved around words, stories, and songwriting. Initially, doctors suspected early-stage Alzheimer's disease, a neurodegenerative disorder that could potentially affect not only his memory, but also his ability to connect with the world in familiar ways. For Kristofferson, his family, and his fans, this was devastating. The thought of this poetic soul losing the very essence of his artistic and personal identity seemed unbearable. Fortunately, further analysis revealed a different diagnosis: Lyme disease, a treatable condition that can mimic several neurological symptoms. He was subjected to rigorous treatment and began to observe a significant improvement in his health and memory. This journey with illness and misdiagnosis became a test of his strength and adaptability. His spirit and determination remained sources of inspiration, reminding us that despite adversity, hope can be found, and life can still be vibrant. His experience with Lyme disease, initially misdiagnosed as Alzheimer's, is evidence of a critical problem in healthcare, accurately diagnosing illnesses presenting with non-specific symptoms. For Kristofferson, an accurate diagnosis meant escaping the shadow of Alzheimer's and returning to a life filled with creative pursuits, performances, and cherished moments with loved ones. It also renewed awareness of Lyme disease, notorious for its subtle symptoms. This also is a wake-up call for comprehensive medical evaluations, taking a holistic approach and considering various causes and symptoms to increase diagnostic accuracy. This experience also shows that when doubt persists about your medical situation, consulting additional healthcare professionals can offer valuable insights and potentially lead to a correct diagnosis. Reflection on mortality. At 87, Kris Kristofferson reflects on his life and career with introspection earned through decades of experience. Known for his honest and unfiltered artistic expression, he now lives through a reflective phase marked by deep contemplation and acceptance of his mortality. This quiet reflection allows the essence of Kristofferson, both artist and man, to shine through. His approach to this stage of life is marked by a tranquil acceptance devoid of fear or regret. While details of his thoughts and feelings cannot be directly accessed, his public statements and career trajectory offer some hints. His continued engagement with creative pursuits and activism suggests a continued love of life and meaning-making in his later years. Recent reports indicate he intends to simplify his life, focusing on relationships and creative pursuits. Recent reports reveal that he is divesting personal assets, including a California ranch. People think he didn't do this for financial gain. Instead, some see it as a symbolic acknowledgement of the transient nature of life and the importance of experiences over material possessions. Others link it to a desire to provide financial security and avoid burdening his heirs with complex assets. While the motivation behind these reported decisions remains personal, public statements show that Kristofferson is determined to leave a legacy beyond material wealth. He reportedly values memories and stories over physical objects, recognizing the importance of individual experiences. The Great Sell-Off. Kris Kristofferson is shedding possessions through strategic sales in a deliberate act of legacy building for his heirs. Public information cannot capture private motivations, but reported actions offer insight into his values and priorities at this stage. It is not a matter of losing hope. Instead, it is acknowledging the inevitability of this stage, setting things for those who will follow after him. This thoughtful and deliberate process reflects Kris's considerate nature, always looking out for others in his final actions. His spirit remains resilient throughout his journey, health battles, and personal struggles. In this reflective phase, he is preparing for the end and celebrating the journey. Each item sold reflects a life fully lived, and his preparations for the inevitable represent the final verses of a poignant song, the closing chapters of a best-selling novel, and the quiet conclusion of an epic film. His decision to sell his properties begs the question. When faced with a life as full and rich as his, how does one choose what to keep and let go? For Kristofferson, the answer lies in practicality and a commitment to simplicity. By minimizing burdens on his loved ones,